Hi, I'm Avery Davidson.
And I'm Kristen Oakes-White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Louisiana farmers now have an improved safety net they've badly needed with the signing of House Resolution 1, better known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
President Donald Trump signed the bill into law on the 4th of July. Included were provisions usually found in the Farm Bill. Louisiana Farm Bureau leaders say it's a good start. With the stroke of a pen, President Donald Trump signed House Resolution 1, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Most of the bill deals with government spending.
For agriculture, it's the meat of the Farm Bill.
Andy Brown is the National Affairs Director for Louisiana Farm Bureau. He says the One Big Beautiful Bill updates the reference prices for commodities used to determine safety net payments to keep farmers in business.
Those were extremely outdated 2012 numbers enacted in 2014. We just pushed them on through in the 2018 Farm Bill, and ever since then we've been trying to work to improve those. So that is the capstone of this whole thing, was that we finally got reference prices increased at a meaningful level to more of the cost of production and all the risk structure of a 2025 farming operation.
This is going to help producers throughout the state, and the fact that we have a safety net in place in the Farm Bill that has some actuarially sound data that our producers and our lenders can work on as they work through their crop loans and production systems throughout the year.
Louisiana Farm Bureau President Richard Fontenot says this is something the organization's grassroots members advocated for.
This was a concerted effort all the way across. We had Louisiana Farm Bureau members that got in touch with our Louisiana legislators. We also got in touch with our American Farm Bureau leadership. They got in touch with senior leadership within Washington, D.C., and we had continued dialogue sharing those economic impacts and those stories and the relevance of the needs of what we were looking for in this One Big Beautiful Bill to provide a safety net as a whole.
Brown says the One Big Beautiful Bill Act expanded that base safety net by increasing base acres by 30 million.
The One Big Beautiful Bill made a significant investment in adding to the base acres, to the acres that can participate in farm programs, is what that means. So for a young farmer, a beginning farmer, somebody that's diversified and tried to get into new avenues of agriculture, a lot of those acres went unprotected by all this wonderful stuff that we talk about with reference price increases. So by adding to the base acres in this country, you've expanded that farm safety net to people who may not have had access to it before.
But that does not mean everything found in the Farm Bill is extended.
There's still a lot that's left to be done to make these programs better, just to make administrative changes, to make procedural changes, what qualifies for a program, what doesn't. So still a lot of efficiency, a lot of improvement that will be done.
Brown says it's likely Congress will take up some of the conservation funding and other Farm Bill provisions later this year in what he called a skinny Farm Bill. We'll keep you updated as that moves forward. Serving a community through agriculture, that's the goal of Okra Abbey.
During the Louisiana Farm Bureau Convention in New Orleans, TWILA's Tammi Arender decided to make the short drive to this urban farm, just a few miles from the French Quarter.
I am at Okra Abbey. This is an urban farm. It's only about 5 miles north of New Orleans, and it's what they call a forgotten community. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But what's happening here at this farm, they are giving these folks a sense of purpose and belonging through farming and agriculture.
It's got columbine, Texas sage, and lyre-leaf sage.
You might not expect to see a flourishing garden on this concrete corner of the old J.W. Jefferson School in New Orleans. But raised beds planted throughout the old playground are now nourishing what's affectionately referred to as Pigeon Town. This is Okra Abbey.
The okra is a very grounded and rooted piece of South Louisiana and New Orleans. And then Abbey is the European notion of a way station, a resting point, place where travelers, children are welcome and will be nourished in their bodies and hopefully also nourished in their souls.
Get a good one right here.
What started as an outdoor classroom for a science teacher at the now defunct school has grown into a space where agriculture meets community. That teacher happened to be a Presbyterian who had a heart for horticulture and helping those in need.
And the Young Adult Volunteer Program of the Presbyterian Church USA started sending volunteers. And after a few years, it became evident that more laborers would lead to a more bountiful harvest. So in 2016, this became Okra Abbey, a new worshiping community of the Presbyterian Church.
Billy Golan is the lead gardener. It's her goal to help others understand the beauty of planting seeds and watching them grow.
It's just an area where people can come as a safe refuge, get fed. If they want to learn about gardening, learn about plants, that's also beautiful.
Thanks to our Creator to ask a blessing on this meal.
Each Wednesday, they have a lunch called Grace and Greens, made predominantly from the vegetables grown here.
Great.
From the 800-gallon tank that catches rainwater to not only irrigate the plants, but prevent water runoff and help mitigate flooding, to the Native Plant Initiative, Okra Abbey is a place to get fed, give back, to learn, and to love others through agriculture.
We give thanks for this food and every person gathered here. Amen.
I'm Tammi Arender for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Okra Abbey partners with the Second Harvest and Jefferson Presbyterian food banks to get proteins to help create a balanced meal for Grace and Greens. Well, many of us depend upon the convenience found at drive-through windows, but in reality, fast food is not so fast.
Not at all. That's the lesson at the heart of the fast food farm in Gramercy, Louisiana. This week, TWILA's Karl Wiggers takes us to the outdoor classroom where teachers are getting a closer look at how they can bring agriculture into their classrooms.
These teachers are using their summer vacation to add to their teaching toolbox when they return to their classrooms in a few weeks. The Fast Food Farm is a hands-on experience designed for students that was founded by Denise Email in the middle of her family's farmland.
You got a spray rig right here flying behind you.
Oh, that's my son.
Email is welcoming more than 50 teachers to the workshop at the project that began 25 years ago.
I started in the late 1990s because I saw a greater disconnect of the children just not even having gardens grown in their backyard. They wasn't aware of agriculture at all, more or less where their food comes from.
This workshop is hosted with the help of volunteers from Louisiana Ag in the Classroom. Linda Danos is the coordinator for the program. She says teachers are an important link to connect students to the farmers who put food on their tables.
Ag in the Classroom is all about getting everyone, but primarily we focus on teachers in Louisiana to understand our business of agriculture. And if they understand it, then we can provide them materials to go back and teach their students about how important agriculture is to everyone's life, and that we need it for survival, for national security, for all of those things that agriculture does to us. And the general public never has to give it a second thought because our farmers are always there.
Ag in the Classroom is a resource for teachers to use to bring agriculture into their regular curriculum, to engage students in a fresh way, and also teach children about the importance of the agriculture we depend on daily.
We have teachers from all over the state that's coming here to see what we do, to be a part of those hands-on activities. And we have connected many lessons to those hands-ons. So they are coming to here as we conduct the activities for their students so they can see and bring it back to their students. So this is being expanded really to a lot of students through those individual teachers.
What we're providing the teachers is those curriculum connections with links to our lesson plans on our Louisiana Ag in the Classroom website that'll give them everything they need to go back and cover all of those standards that the state says they have to teach, and doing it in a fun, hands-on way.
Reporting in Gramercy, I'm Karl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
If you missed out this year, fear not. No FOMO here. The Louisiana Ag in the Classroom resources are available to you right now online at twilatv.org. Now, they're not just for teachers. If you have children at home this summer and want to find an activity for them that includes agriculture, it's a great place for you to look. A powwow is a celebration of Native American culture, and no celebration would be complete without food, Kristen.
This week, TWILA's Neil Melancon travels to Kinder as the largest tribe in Louisiana uses agriculture to honor their culture.
It's called the Grand Entrance for a reason. With more than 500 dancers present, the exhibition hall at the Coushatta Casino in Kinder is full of exuberant dancers celebrating their culture. Tribe member Krista Williams says the annual event is a fun time with deep meaning to the Coushatta people.
This is the 28th annual. It's very important to our culture to have the powwow in our homelands of Coushatta tribe of Louisiana. And it's, it provides us a place and a setting to celebrate all of our traditions, our culture, our language through dance.
No celebration would be complete without the food, and no powwow would be without fry bread. This staple provision emerged out of hungry times on the reservations post-World War II, but has become a symbol of the resiliency of tribes like the Coushatta.
I get the flour, plain flour, all-purpose flour, and then add salt, baking powder, and water. And then you knead till you don't have any more flour in the bowl. And then when it comes out, we let it rest. I let it rest for about an hour.
Marjorie makes about 400 pieces of fry bread, one at a time. For her, making the bread is about continuing the connection to her culture, keeping alive the original name of her tribe and language, Coushatta.
My great-grandfather, which was the chief of the Coushatta, I don't know if he was the second or the third chief, they spoke Coushatta, and my dad, has been speaking Coushatta.
One of the more obscure arts represented here is basket weaving from longleaf pine needles. They blend seamlessly together in Lucia Alfaro's weave, but you can see on some of the ends where the pine needles attach.
This is all like traditional. This is contemporary. And then I evolved some of my grandmother's pieces. I would go look at it and study it, and I would evolve it out to kind of my way of I would see it.
This traditional craft that utilizes the environment of Louisiana is in danger of fading. Fortunately for Lucia, her daughter weaves as well, ensuring it continues another generation.
It's like 4 generations that I can link to directly, because I've seen some of my great-grandmother's work as well, so I've seen that, and I've had the opportunity to see it. And my grandmother has work around everywhere in the museums and Smithsonian.
As the dancers and drummers go late into the night, they'll be doing so as part of the patchwork of cultures that depend upon agriculture that makes Louisiana so special. Reporting from Kinder, I'm Neil Melancon.
Coushatta is one of 4 federally recognized tribes in Louisiana, along with 11 state-recognized tribes. To find out more about the Coushatta, you can log on to our website at twilatv.org. Well, still to come on TWILA, from a stable to a thriving agritourism destination. We'll take you to this spot right off I-10 near Baton Rouge.
But first, the one-word definition of what it takes to be successful in agriculture. That's next.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
What does it take to be a farmer? We ask that question to the people who work out in the fields day in and day out, fixing equipment, managing finances, and praying for good weather.
Words like pressure and struggles were used, but when you factor in their perseverance and endurance, their answers all boil down to one word: grit.
I started farming in 1968, about 57 years. I can remember what it smelled like to plow the ground. I could remember what it felt like to be able to go harvest your crop. Greatest thing in the world. Things have changed a lot since then. The physical part today, nothing like it was then. But the mental part is much more strenuous today.
It's not easy what we do. The suicide rate for farmers is pretty high. It's because we deal with a lot of things that we can't control. You can do everything right in the field and a hurricane comes and demolishes the crop, and you can't do anything about it.
These last few years have been a struggle.
We've endured hurricanes, we've endured disasters, we've endured drought, we've endured excessive rain over the past couple of years. And every year for the past 3 years, the farmers gotten kicked in the teeth with no safety net out there at this point, because we're basing it off of 10 years ago.
The prices are way too low for your direct expenses that are in the crop.
A farm will not service that debt with the income that we have, and it goes back to production costs. So that alone has created a monster with most people. Now it is so hard to grow a farm for a young farmer. We all know much debt puts you into slavery, and that's exactly how they feel.
Everything is on our shoulders. We decide what our employees do every day. We have to decide what to do in the fields, what to give the crop, what it needs. We're always the final decision maker. So the weight of that every day it's kind of scary at times.
Farming is like sailing a ship. It's your ship. It's your liability to keep it floating and to keep it going on a destination. And you're constantly looking over the bow, and when you see something coming, you better start right then changing the course. You can't wait till that iceberg comes or till you hit the ground because your ship is sinking. And that's in every farmer's mind. He's always constantly looking over the bow. It's never off of your mind. It's something, decisions that you make every day, and today you can't make a bad decision.
Farming it's a way of life. It's not the easiest way of life, and to me, if you can't take pressure, this is not where you need to be, because it is just pressure packed every day.
We get hit every year, it's something, but you push through and figure out how to cope. I don't know how, I really don't. It's just like something kicks in your brain and you're like, what can I do to get past this?
When you get a bad flock of birds, which is gonna happen, and knowing that you're gonna work your tail off, and you know you're still gonna do bad, but we do it anyways. We get in there and we get it done. We have 56 days that those birds are in our care. And every morning and through the night is gonna be the same. We're gonna get up and we're gonna get it done, and we'll work twice or 3 times as hard on a bad flock, because that's just what chicken farmers do.
Part of being a farmer is being resilient and being able to adapt at what life throws at you. And you're not gonna come out here and make it if you can't adapt. So weather or regulation or anything that comes our way, you know, we train ourselves to be able to adapt and face that problem head on. And the toughness that you build up out here is going to benefit the next generation to carry on.
I walk out the door every day and know that I'm going to do something that I love. I literally love what I do every day. I'm not groaning about going to work. I'm thinking about what's the next thing that I can do to make my farm better. And it's worth every penny, every stress, every tear, every sweat that you put into it when you harvest that crop. And I feel like it's making me better as a person to be able to put adversity aside and work harder to have a future for me and my family.
You do it because this is my place. I own this ground right here. When something breaks at the chicken house, whenever it's bad birds or whatever, it's mine. I own that. And so it brings you a sense of pride. I don't know why anybody would want to do anything else.
I like going through hard times and being able to survive. It makes us stronger, and it's not for the money. It's to do this bigger purpose. It's a bigger purpose.
Grit.
Hard, determined.
Dirty.
You know, you got to have a little bit of nastiness.
Don't take no for an answer.
Grinding your teeth.
You get knocked down and get back up and keep going.
Giving it everything you have, and that pretty much describes a farmer. Grit.
Grit doesn't wear a name tag.
It doesn't need applause.
Grit isn't loud. It doesn't beg for attention.
It doesn't quit when the forecast is bad and the road gets rough. no matter how hard, how hot, or unpredictable.
Grit wakes up early, stays late,
shows up again and again when no one's watching and everyone's counting on you.
Here in Louisiana, grit is in our soil.
It's in our voices, it's in our families, it's who we are.
We are Farm Bureau, and this is what grit looks like.
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 We are Farm Bureau, and this is what grit looks like.
What you did not see in that video is who put it together. Kristen Oaks-White, and just an amazing job, Kristen.
Well, thanks, Avery, but it's easy to do something like that when you've got such good content from our farmers and ranchers who gave awesome interviews. So they're the true stars of the video.
We have characters in Louisiana. Still to come on TWILA, we'll take you down to Prairieville, where one horse boarding operation took advantage during the pandemic and is now a booming agritourism venture.
Agritourism is a booming trend among many farms across the state. Down at Ascension Parish, Chapple Farms has grown significantly from just a little horse stable.
Today, they offer cultivated experiences to everyone. TWILA's intern Alexandra Kling gives us a tour.
Driving down I-10, you may wonder what could be on the other side of those trees. It is the one and only Chapple Farms, full of friendly animals and fruit trees. Down Miller Road, you will discover a family farm owned by Alexander Chapple. It started out as horse boarding in the beginning of 2019 that expanded shortly after.
So that's my biggest passion is the fruit trees. We've got probably about 1,000 different fruit trees with maybe 500 different varieties. Bought a lot of stuff on Etsy from different nurseries. Had a lot of failures the first year.
It wasn't always a smooth path, but it helped them grow. Chapple Farms also nurses and hatches their animals themselves.
Most of our birds came from eBay. We've got giant incubators. We're bottle feeding some baby capybaras right now.
They're so adorable and they're tiny babies.
One of Alexander's sons, Abram, has a soft spot for capybaras. Chapple Farms also has swans, ducks, turkeys, chickens, cows, and peacocks. But that's not all.
My favorite bird is the emus. They're really friendly. They come right up to you. You can pet them and hug them.
All of the hard work could not be completed without the Chapple family having all hands on deck.
They're all involved in different ways. When my two middle sons are good at the chicken coops. Archer, he is good at doing basically everything.
Anything from pecans, fruit plants, or animals can all be bought from the farm, except for the horses.
What a beautiful, hot and sunny day we have here in Louisiana. Who would have thought on the side of I-10 is Chapple Farm? For This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Alexandra Kling.
For information on how to book an event at Chapple Farms, we have a link posted right now at twilatv.org.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Be sure to join us next week when we'll look at how the heavy rains this summer are impacting livestock prices.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. You'll find all of these stories and more on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Turn on those notifications. That way you get a little ding when we put something new out.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.